Good morning and welcome to Inside Jacksonville, a production of the UNF Department of Communication and CW17. I'm Melody Hopkins.
And I'm Andrew Potashnik. We're here each month with stories about life on the First Coast.
It's a brand new year, so let's start it with a bit of inspiration, a cross-section of people who make the First Coast home.
We don't have a butcher or a candlestick maker, but we do have a baker, and a stay-at-home mom, and a very different kind of makeup artist.
First up is a captain. It takes a special person to be a leader. The most effective leaders have a certain presence about them and also have a personal touch too. That's a perfect description of the guy you're about to meet. The guy who told me his story while showing me around Naval Station Mayport. When little Dougie Cochran was a young boy, he was fascinated with flying. And now he is Captain Douglas Cochran. His dreams have come true, and then some. Today, he's the commanding officer at Naval Station Mayport.
I'd always wanted to fly. When I was a little kid, always was fascinated by it, built the model airplanes. Looked at my dad's model airplanes that he had built and kept over the years. We had a little general aviation airport near our house and, just always fascinated by it.
Cochran was born and raised in South Florida and attended a small university in Texas. During his senior year there, he was impressed by a visitor in a white uniform, a Navy recruiter. That meeting resulted in big changes.
And so I told him, I've always wanted to fly. I always thought that'd be pretty fun, pretty awesome. And here's what he did. He started at my hairline and he looked me all the way down to my toes and then all the way back up, stopped at my eyes. And he said, "What makes you think you're good enough?" And that was the hook.
26 years later, Cochran leads more than 8,000 men and women at Mayport. He's quick to credit the Navy mentors he's had throughout his career, which is why he loves being a mentor himself and having the same impact on others like Josh Livingood.
He's actually sat down with me and looked through my trigonometry and actually gone out of his way that far for me to help me with my trigonometry. So not too many captains have definitely done that for me, especially. So I kind of know him at a personal level, I feel, which is very uncommon in the Navy.
The feeling goes both ways. Cochran's job may be to run a major naval installation, but it's the people, not the places, that make the biggest impressions.
All the memorable moments don't have to do with flying and the exciting stuff. I would say probably getting a phone call from Graham Dix. Hey, I just got selected for Aviation Command. And knowing that I had a very, very small piece in that young officer's career initially. He did the vast majority of the hard work by himself. Yeah, don't get me wrong, but maybe I had a small piece in his early development.
Not many commanding officers make these very personal connections at work. Command Master Chief Robert White is one of Cochran's close friends. White says the captain inspires him every day.
He treats everyone with mutual respect. It's not about, because I'm a commanding officer. He is a human, okay? And his leadership style is the kind that people will follow into battle without question.
White and others on base call Cochran Skipper, Senator, Sir. But how does Cochran describe himself?
When you get right down to it, I'm just a geek, I try to hide it as best I can, but I'm kind of a geeky dude, to tell you the truth.
He took us to a few of his favorite spots on base, telling us stories from when he first joined the Navy, and reminiscing about family time with his wife Ann and 4 children, Shannon, Sean, Devin, and Aaron. What really gave him a kick? He coached a softball team, a bunch of little girls, into the big time.
That was probably a memorable moment off the installation. Just getting that group of 8-year-old girls together and winning a state championship. I used to call it the little team that could.
His son was born during a deployment between the Persian Gulf and Adriatic Sea. Seeing his family is what kept him motivated then and still motivates him today.
They definitely have shared in the highs and the lows. And I would say my wife, without a doubt, is probably 90% of the support system. No question about that.
And his Mayport family supports him in all he does. With more than 8,000 men and women behind him, Captain Cochran can celebrate his accomplishments after a lifelong dream of flying.
Every single day that I've spent in the Navy, I've loved. Some days more than others. But the reason why I do it, and this is just me personally, is I think this is a very, very worthwhile endeavor.
You know, it's really no surprise that Cochran is so quick to recognize all the people around him, his personal and military families. It's the mark of a great leader.
So you spent a lot of time with him. What impressed you the most about him?
I did. He talks to some of the most powerful people in the country. You know, you saw the pictures in the package of him with Dick Cheney. He was the naval aide on 9/11 to Vice President Dick Cheney, but he's just like your everyday guy, you know, very nice, very approachable.
From a guy who's been all over the world to a woman who doesn't travel much at all,
Anna Kiskowski joins us live in the studio to introduce us to a woman who, well, I guess you could say she doesn't have a job. Anna?
She doesn't have a job outside the home, but that doesn't mean she doesn't work. This is a lady who has her hands full.
A lot smaller. You know which one they go on?
This is Rachel Raymond. She is a stay-at-home mom of 2 young girls. Today, they're having a Barbie fashion show, something her oldest loves to do daily. After her first was born, she went back to her job in retail, but then made a decision that changed her life.
After having my firstborn, I worked for a year, and then after she turned a year, I just couldn't stand the thought of someone else watching her all day, so I quit my job and stayed at home with her.
As you might imagine, being a stay-at-home mom can be difficult, but when things get hectic or frustrating, Raymond always remembers why she made the decision.
No time for yourself. There's a lot of sacrifices to be made, but in the end, I know that it's all worth it for them. So I'm willing to make the sacrifices that I have to for them.
And as if being a stay-at-home mom isn't enough, last summer, Raymond took on another challenge. She started her own small business, the Neva Lucille Collection. Raymond makes custom clothing for children and ladies and some household goods. Some of the custom items include girls' skirts and dresses, ladies' dresses, and kitchen hand towels. Sitting down to sew requires a bit of time management.
I usually get up at around 4 in the morning. And I work until 4, from 4 until my little one gets up, or until I have to get my other daughter up for school.
Right.
And then during the day, you know, a little bit here and there, and then when she takes her nap, I do it again. And on the occasion, I'll stay up late and work at night, but usually from the time I pick my daughter up from school until bedtime is just family time.
Getting things done is how Sarah would describe Rachel as a small business owner.
I think probably I always knew that Rachel needed to lead, manage, or own something. So definitely taking her necessity to definitely get things done. Right. She takes that and rolls with it. I think she has 2 days off without her kids, and she definitely during those times she gets stuff done. She works on the store. She uses networking through Facebook and different sites and stuff to get her advertising out. Right. So I think she handles it all very well with what all she has going on in her life.
While the business is nice, Raymond believes being a stay-at-home mom was her life's calling. She enjoys each moment, including never knowing what that day could hold.
The unpredictability of every day. It's so funny because it's totally monotonous and routine every day, but then you never know what the day is going to hold. It's total unpredictability. One could be sick on the drop of a dime, or everything changes.
One of the benefits of her stay-at-home business is that she's the boss. She doesn't have to answer to anyone else until one of her kids needs her. Melody and Andrew?
And is she able to make and sell enough products to really make it worth it?
She is, actually. Last summer, the business really started to pick up, so she's been busy with it ever since, and she absolutely loves seeing people in her clothing. Back to you guys.
Wow, thank you, Anna. Everyone likes to look their best for important occasions. When we come back, Margie Castro joins us with the story of a man who helps people do that for one last time.
And I'll have the story of a woman who wanted to implement her own ideas for education, so she opened her own school.
And later, Rebecca Ely introduces us to the baker behind these spectacular, yummy creations. Grab a cup of coffee for this one.